there, Sanjeev here from World Robotics League. So today I'm going to be talking about how to form and operate a World Robotics League team. This question comes up quite often from parents and kids both alike as to what is the effective way to form a team and what is an effective way to operate a team after it has been formed. What should be the size, what are the resources that are required, and so on and so forth. So we put together this video so that we could help answer some of these questions for you. So the first one is that, of course, it's fairly obvious. The step one, get some kids together. World Robotics League used to be 2 kids minimum and 4 kids maximum. The reason for this was that in past experience, what we realized was when we had more than 4 kids in a team, it would become extremely chaotic and kids would not get enough opportunities to express themselves and to do any real robotics work. Kids would start stepping on each other's toes, and the entire team meetings would be spent chasing after the kids instead of getting something productive done. Limiting the team size to 4 actually led to very significant improvements. Everyone in the team gets a good opportunity to participate, and at the same time, you can have good teamwork, which is required for leagues like First Lego League. The other thing, we used to have 2 minimum size, but a lot of parents said that, hey, our kids are so engaged, they're working so hard that it's becoming hard for us to not let them be the key driver or not let them have the main responsibilities for the entire competition. So essentially, what they said was, in some cases, the kids are so competitive and engaged that in a four-person team, all four would actually go ahead and work independently and perform and finish the challenge on their own, and then come together and have a mini challenge among themselves. And then they would take the one that the robot and the program that worked the best, which essentially was in many ways a really good thing because the kids were engaged, but also it did not give them the right opportunity to come and express themselves in the competition. So we said, sure, we will drop the team size to 1 for highly motivated kids, and that way you can have team sizes all the way from 1 to 4. So step one, get some kids that work well together. The second one, designate a coach. Sounds fairly obvious, but who should be the coach? In general, traditionally in a robotics league, the coaches are one of the parents. One of the parents that is quite engaged would normally pick up the responsibilities kind of naturally. But one thing that we have seen is when a parent is actually stepping up, make sure that they have some technical background. The kids, if they are well trained, they do not need too much help. But still, kids being kids do not have the same maturity level as parents. And once in a while, you would see that kids are getting stuck and not making progress, in which case an intervention by an experienced person is needed. And thus, we say one of the parents who has a little technical inclination and who is willing to spend some of the time working with kids. The step three is, of course, like registering the team. This is purely administrative. Find your local chapter of World Robotics League, or if there isn't a local chapter of World Robotics League, go ahead and form one on your own and maybe invite other teams to come and compete with you. The step four is to buy the right material. At the level at which we are currently operating World Robotics League, which is essentially the craftsman level, the robot that we recommend is the Lego Mindstorms EV3 Core Kit. This kit is a pretty good kit, has a bunch of sensors, a rechargeable battery, and the key thing to remember here is that this kit is available only from Lego Education website. You cannot find this at any other retailer. There are no other authorized resellers. So do not even, in fact, go to the Lego store in the malls and try to purchase from there because they do not contain the right kit. You will actually be losing a bunch of sensors and the rechargeable battery. So purchase this one and you're good to go. Step 5 is building a table. And building the table is a fairly straightforward operation. We have a link right over here where we explain how to build a table. And practically all you need is a drill and a bunch of clamps, and you're all set. So after you have built a table, you are ready to move on to the next step, step 6. And step 6 is essentially getting a mat. So tables are pieces of plywood with wooden borders. However, the surface of the wood might not be exactly the same for me, for you, for somebody else, depending on the kind of wood that we could get. So given all of that, it's important that we make the playing field uniform for all the teams. And thus comes in the concept of mat. A mat is just a plastic sheet. It's a special kind of plastic sheet which kind of evens out all of these variances It's a thin plastic sheet, white in color, because sometimes you want to place colored lines for the robot to be able to see, and so it needs to be white. And the top surface is a little plasticky so that we can clean it and reuse it again and again. And finally, it has a little bit of roughness. It's not too rough, it's fairly smooth, but it has a little bit of roughness so that the robot tires can get traction. Your local World Robotics League chapter should be able to provide you one, or you can probably go to some place like Home Depot and Lowe's, or Lowe's, and try and find some material that roughly simulates a reasonable mat that is smooth and yet has some amount of friction. Step number 7, if you have come so far, is like you have the table and you have the mat on top of this. Take the latest challenge or whatever challenge your World Robotics League is running at that point of time. Take that challenge and build the actual, sorry, take the table and build the actual challenge on top of that. The challenge comes in form of wood pieces, blocks, maybe other mechanisms, and so on and so forth. A key thing to remember here is that when you're building the challenge, uh, your kid might not be able to complete the like finish building the challenge by themselves. And the reason is the challenge requires wood to be cut. It requires pieces to be taped very accurately. It requires an understanding of engineering drawing. We have a video on engineering drawing if you don't fully understand what that is, so that you can lay out things exactly where they should be, so that when you come to compete, your robot behaves very predictably. And a kid might not have this background, but an adult should be able to read this easily, read or build this easily. So go ahead, build this, and I think and I think you can unblock your kids fairly easily there. The final step, if you come so far, essentially you have a robot, is to practice on the table. Like take your robot, place it in the same place again and again before it starts. Make sure to track where errors are occurring, solve them, keep going over it over and over till you are ready. And when you come to the World Robotics League competition place, wherever the competition is being held, make sure that you try and get a few robot runs on the actual competition table. Some of the most successful teams practice exclusively at home, but as soon as they are at the venue, they try and find a few moments and a mock run, or at least get a sample run on the actual table, so that they can account for any differences between the table that they have practiced at home on and the table that they got over at the competition side. And that's it. I mean, at this point of time, you should be fully ready. If you did all the steps, your team will be ready, you will be ready. Go ahead, compete, and win. And I guess I will see you at the competitions. Good luck and Godspeed.